I also sought the former Acting National Commissioner General Mkhwana to assist with the very issues and raised under concern with Minister Cele. B1. The WhatsApp message to the Minister Bheki Cele dated 5 May 2022, number 82. I ask the Commission to appreciate what follows not merely as factual background, but as constitutionally significant context long before this Commission was established, long before a subpoena was served upon me, and long before any allegation was made publicly against me. I was the person who walked towards the state rather than away from it. On May 5, 2022, approximately 3 months before the attempt of my life in August 22, I sent a WhatsApp message directly to the Honorable Minister of Police, Mr. Bheki Cele. I did so voluntarily, at obvious personal risk and without any compulsion whatsoever. The text of that message, which is attached to the statement as Annex K, reads as follows. Honorable Minister Cele, I am Mr. Joe Sibanyoni, a well-known taxi owner in Pretoria. I'm quite certain that you are expecting my call as per info given to yourself, Minister. My fundamental reason is to seek your audience under this current situation the country finds itself in, the COVID-19. The taxi industry is in the verge of catastrophic disaster. I felt unattended even now during COVID-19. These current killings of Gauteng and the KZN taxi operators, which I personally know of, if it wasn't for COVID-19, Minister, the killings would have easily escalated beyond measure. I certainly request your audience as a matter of urgency to avert more killings of innocent members that will make the source of these killings be impossible to get. As I send you this message, Minister, be aware that service delivery around Greater Tshwane and surroundings is highly disturbed by the same cartel which I have solid facts on. Please, Minister, it is my belief as a leader in the taxi industry and a senior citizen of South Africa, it will be very irresponsible of me to keep this information. Minister, you are the relevant person to get the first-hand information from me. One of the very disturbing facts is that the very senior SAPS officials are in this cabal. As per your statement, Minister, the policeman cannot die with the gun in his hand. Therefore, the taxi industry cannot die when I have such valuable information. Your favorable response will be greatly appreciated.
Can I just stop you there, because this is a very significant WhatsApp. And I'd just like you to amplify what you're saying here. Halfway through you say, as I send you this message, Minister, be aware that the service delivery around Greater Tshwane and surroundings is highly disturbed by the same cartel which I have solid facts on. What is this cartel that you are talking about? That's the first question. And how is it impacting on service delivery in Greater Tshwane?
My own understanding in terms of cartel, it was like a group of people doing some nasty, dirty work around Tshwane and Gauteng, as I've mentioned already. So what was happening in the first place, I wanted to give the minister for him to give me an audience so that I can explain further how do I see this happening. And obviously during that time, I thought it was easy maybe to get hold of him based on the information, the way I've gathered it, or I've sent it to him. And a lot of people were dying around Tshwane, for an example, because I'm a citizen around here. So I will have to know that people are dying there and there. Therefore, it was an obligation for me as a senior citizen here to give information to him.
Yes, but you speak specifically about a cartel that's involved here. And you'll later on say that very senior SAPS officials are in the cabal. I'm interested in who you're speaking about.
Yeah, I'll be direct in this particular instance. At that time, I had information that all this is happening because of the existence of the farm. So I took it that maybe the minister is not aware of that. But putting it to him directly so, and for him to give me audience so that I can give guidance as to where do I get this information or any assistance of that in a broader picture of this letter.
Again, we would like that information. I mean, what led you to believe that this cartel was a cartel based on the farm. On what basis? It's a very serious allegation you're making here, that the farm is controlling
Yes.
matters and service delivery in Tshwane is affected by the farm. What evidence did you have for that?
All I can say, the practical evidence one could never get, but the information from people that were reluctant to tell me was there. So talking to the minister for me, it was more relevant.
Can you please say more on the open quote, solid facts, close quote, that you told the minister you had?
Yeah,
That is about the cartel.
yeah, cartel in this context, I take it that as a group of persons living in the farm were the ones that were driving this force. Not to say that this particular person, but being there, and from the information that I gathered from one of my friends who is a deceased now, I was quite certain that this matter comes from them.
And your knowledge of senior SAPS officials involved in the cabal?
No,
who are you
I
referring
heard about that. From the information that I gathered, one will be knowing exactly that police are more often than not being seen at the farm. And
Individuals in particular?
no, not really.
So no names were given to you?
Yeah, no names will be given.
So if General Cele had given you an audience, what would you have told him?
I was going to indicate to him, given the history of my taxi experience first, so that I take it into confidence as to what I'm going to talk about. To start with, it's something that is happening. So therefore, and indicate to him, maybe through his own intelligence, let him take this information and utilize it through his own intelligence. But the place will be clear that it doesn't originate from Cape Town or Durban. This thing originates from one particular place. Therefore, his job was going to be easy as all that. That was my understanding.
And when you refer to the farm, you're talking about Mr. Msibi's
Correct,
farm.
yes, yeah.
But it seems to me, I mean, I must confess I was hoping that you would be able to give us a lot more detail than you just have. Because it seems to me from what you're saying now is that the only specific information that you had in relation to this was that a cartel organized around Mr. Msibi is infiltrating service delivery in Tshwane and has access to senior SAPS officers. Did you have any more information than that?
No, not more information. It can be specific, direct to this particular person, or because that's a broader picture of what I've heard.
Because, I mean, what your WhatsApp speaks of is solid facts, first-hand information. What was the first-hand information you had?
How do I understand it? You've got your colleague here next to you. I mean, if he talks to you as a brother, to start with, you've got no reason to underestimate his statements as to whatever he gives you, because you'll be interrogating him, then you'll be at the end of the day convinced that it is exactly this thing is happening. Okay, what do I do next after that? I approach the minister as an umbrella to this whole thing.
No, I understand that, but what I'm really concerned about is essentially the lack of detail in the information that you had. You had no more information than that Mr. Msibi is running a cartel out of his farm and infiltrating law enforcement and Tshwane service delivery.
Yeah, 50-50 in a sense that The information was clear to me that whatever was happening was from the farm. The information was clear, and I was convinced with that. Therefore, I need to take it to another level to assist. And it was good at the time if I was given an audience.
Just a moment, Mr. Chasko. Ms. Sibanyoni, there's one or two things. Either you don't have those facts, or you do have those facts, but you are reluctant to share them in a forum such as this. So I'm going to suggest that during tea time you discuss with your legal representatives and reflect on whether you want to give them in a different way, either in an affidavit, or if you don't have those facts, then you don't have those
Yes.
facts. We move on.
Yeah, let
from
me
there.
just say,
So
I don't-
I know that there are issues you raised about security and other things, and we must be sensitive to that. So, but these facts are important for us because they are relevant to the terms of reference of this commission. So I hope you reflect on that during tea. You can take advice from your legal representatives, and then we can move forward from there.
Noted, Commissioner.
Otherwise, the information is not solid at all.
Yeah.
That is what you've given us thus far. It is not solid facts at all.
Noted.
Let's take the adjournment and resume at 11:40. Let's adjourn.